Black Lives Matter. Do we think our little white asses are the only ones that matter?
The reactions to Dolly Parton's passing has been pouring in, but some of the most emotional reactions are coming from black people.
Dolly Parton is a top 3 favorite white person within the black community. She's not 3, and she's certainly not 2. So with her passing, it feels like a loss within the family. When Whitney Houston did her rendition of I Will Always Love You, because remember, that is simply a cover from the original that Dolly sang. The media was trying to make it seem like there was a rivalry between Dolly and Whitney, but Dolly put all that to rest. She gave Whitney her flowers and her praise for breathing new life into the song, and the money that Dolly earned, the royalty money that Dolly earned from Whitney doing the song, she used that money to invest in black communities, and she dubbed that as the house that Whitney built. And then some 30 years later, when Beyonce came out with Cowboy Carter, her rendition of Jolene, all Dolly had was love for her, while some members within country music were complaining that Cowboy Carter wasn't authentically country. Like half of the country music out there is authentically country. And when something was wrong in the world, she wasn't afraid to speak on it. When George Floyd was murdered, she wasn't afraid to say that Black Lives Matter. Of course, putting her own Dolly spin on it, but that's why we loved her. She was so real and authentic. When she realized that the title of her restaurant gave off racist connotations, she immediately changed it. But overall, we just loved how charitable and philanthropic she was. I think I read somewhere that she gave away, or donated, I should say, 150 million books around the world. That's insane. But she was truly one of those people who tried to make the world a better place, and it's sad that she's no longer with us.
Listen, I don't think y'all understand. Dolly Parton was a very much an important part, highly respected, highly regarded member of the black community. Like, Dolly was one of us. She was invited to the cookout. She was invited to the family reunion. Hell, she was probably cooking at the family reunion. Like, she was very much no nonsense, like all the aunties and aunties I grew up with. It may not be long, but there is a list of white women that black people do not play about. And Dolly Parton was surely on that list. Dolly, you will be missed by many. You will be missed by a lot. Now please know, the black community.
And if you're wondering why so many people in the black community have such a deep love for Dolly, there are a few moments people keep bringing up. Of course, there's Whitney Houston and I Will Always Love You. But people are also remembering how Dolly made her position clear on Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. Do we think our little white asses are the only ones that matter? I think that everybody needs to express themselves however they feel they have to. I'm not out, like I said, I'm not out here to tell you what to do. I don't want you to tell me what to do. But I just do what my heart tells me to do. I ask God to direct me and lead me. And if I've got His direction, I don't have to worry too much about anything else. But I do understand people having to make themselves known and felt and seen. And of course, Black Lives Matter. Do we think our little white asses are the only ones that matter? No, everybody matters.
So Dolly Parton actually did a lot for the black community. R.I.P. Dolly. I'm only just finding this out now, but she actually invested a lot of money into the black community in Nashville. She also supported Black Lives Matter. And the other thing I'm hearing is that when Beyonce come out with a country album, she's receiving a lot of backlash for it, whereas Dolly stood up and said, no, welcome to the genre, openly supported it. I feel like there's a bit of a stigma attached to white country music. Now, I'm not by any stretch saying that all white country musicians are racist or fans are racist, but there's that kind of stigma. But Dolly Parton definitely did not conform to that sort of stereotype. R.I.P. Dolly. She had some absolute classic country songs. Also, she's got that theme park as well that I really want to visit one day. So, yeah, sad times, guys, sad times. R.I.P. to Dolly Parton.
Miss Dolly Parton, I might be the only black person that'll probably say this, but baby, thank you so much for everything you did for black music, for black country music, to help us get through them doors that nobody else wanted to let us in. There's some what's going on in America, man?
If you only knew Dolly Parton as the lady who sang Jolene, you might not understand why so many black people seem genuinely upset about her passing. But Dolly actually had a really interesting relationship with black culture. And I think part of what made Dolly different was that she never seemed to need black culture to become smaller in order for her own culture to remain important. Let's start with Whitney Houston, right? Dolly wrote I Will Always Love You, and it was already a #1 country song, twice actually. But Whitney turned it into one of the biggest records in music history. And because Dolly kept her publishing rights, Whitney's version reportedly earned her around $10 million in royalties in the 90s. Dolly later said that she used some of that money on her office complex in what was then a predominantly black area of Nashville. And she literally called it the house that Whitney built. What I actually love about this is that Dolly understood the relationship was reciprocal. Whitney benefited from Dolly's incredible songwriting, but Dolly also understood just how much Whitney had done for her song. She just never seemed threatened by it. She celebrated it. And then there was Queen Latifah. They starred together in Joyful Noise, became friends, and Dolly even turned up on Queen Latifah's talk show wearing gold chains and actually started rapping. Please go and find the video, because Dolly had absolutely no business being that committed to the performance. But honestly, underneath the funny moments, there was something more serious, right? When Black Lives Matter became a huge conversation in America, Dolly didn't dance around it. She said, of course Black Lives Matter. She also removed the word Dixie from one of her attractions after understanding why its associations could be offensive. And I think aside from Dolly being phenomenally talented and just a great example of humanity, that ability to respect another culture without feeling threatened by it is part of why she crossed cultural lines in a way that a lot of people never managed to. She could celebrate Whitney, work with Queen Latifah, publicly show respect for people outside her own culture, and still be completely Dolly Parton. Maybe that's why the grief feels bigger than country music, because for a lot of people, she didn't just tolerate cultures outside of her own, she seemed genuinely comfortable loving them, like we're supposed to, right, as human beings. Anyway, let's talk in the comment section. What are your thoughts?
I'm paying attention to how the black community is grieving Dolly Parton right now. Are y'all seeing how the black community is grieving a white woman who sang in country music from the state of Tennessee? Do you see that? Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why black folks are grieving the loss of Dolly Parton today in ways that they have not grieved other white women. And then maybe you should emulate that behavior. You should go figure out what's so special about Dolly that makes black folks sad that she has left this earth. And then do that. Okay?
Dolly Parton loved black people, and she made sure that her love of the black community was made very, very clear. And like that really touches me a lot, because like growing up, my dad was a band director for one of the oldest HBCUs in America, and in between abusing his wife and kids, he used to always instill how much influence black people had in so much of the music in America before being pushed out of that aspect of that, music. And one thing he would always say is, a black man made the banjo. A black man made the banjo. And like he said this in reference to how like a lot of the country music and a lot of folk music that the South claims to be, white culture, has so much like a heritage within the black community, but we were, because of the racism and especially the KKK and the hate groups that were founded and formed in the South because of racism, we were pushed out from that. And like Dolly Parton wasn't stupid. Dolly Parton, most likely, she knew that. Especially when it came to like Beyonce's Cowboy Carter, I feel like one reason why she made such a divisive choice to put her name so loudly associated. And mind you, Dolly Parton has not really let people touch her stuff like Jolene up until Beyonce. Like guys, that was a big deal. She made sure to do that in order to help preserve, in order to bring back up the history and heritage that black people have when it comes to folk music. A black man invented the banjo. Never forget that. And like I love Dolly Parton so much. Like, as a black person, as a person of the LGBT community, like I love her so much because she is what when a lot of times people in the South and the country don't know how to separate their heritage from their racist negative parts of their heritage, and Dolly Parton did. And not only did she, but like she made you feel welcome. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she made folk music seem acceptable, whereas, like, a lot of times folk music has this very obvious conservative, bigoted lean to it because, you know, this is our country now, you know? And, like, Dolly Parton made sure to never do that. I love her so much. It's actually, like, not, like, parasocially, but, like, I just respect her legacy and her, like, she was such a smart woman. Everything she did it with a purpose. Nothing she did was random. And I love... She was so sweet, so a lot of her divisive political choices that were on the right side of history don't hit as much because she's so sweet and she does it so subtly and so, like, sweetly. But, like, guys, looking back at her career, she has always stood on the right side of history. When for instance, Whitney Houston, when her song blew up, when Whitney Houston, when Whitney Houston covered "I Will Always Love You," Dolly Parton took the money that she got from that song, because, you know, that's originally her song, and she donated it to the black community. She donated the money that she made from Whitney Houston covering her song to the black community. Think about that. Like, low-key, Dolly, yes. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I can't think of too many white women that we as the black community cry for. Or even think about. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm being straight up. There's 3 that I could think of. Betty White, Dolly Parton, and Celine Dion. We like them white women. Probably the only 3 that I felt anything seriously moving in my spirit. And so I'm saying what I'm saying because, you know, when certain white people die, they be shocked that black people act the way we act. But we act the way we act with them because they acted right with us. And so Betty White, when she passed, oh yeah, that we felt that. Now Dolly Parton has passed. Oh, yes, we felt that. My hair went up. And Celine Dion, thank you so much for staying strong, honey. But when you go, the whole of Jamaica is going to shut the fuck down. I'm just letting you know she is an honorary Jamaican, period and point blank. So, you know, there's certain ones that we just like, and they liked us back. That's why we're crying for you, Dolly.
So upon the passing of Dolly Parton, I asked the question, what did she do so much for black people to be giving her so much praise? I don't hear black people giving that same level of praise when it comes to the guy who passed, who played Eddie King, the gentleman who played Lamont in Sanford and Son, or Lester from 227. Black people in our communities who were staples when it comes to entertainment and those who we remember, especially in our childhood. So when it comes to YT people and other ethnicities outside of our community, why is it a problem for us to have a level of expectation when they reap the benefits of our praise, our support, and especially our money? Asking that question is not something negative. It should open up your eyes to, we give so much emphasis on other people, we don't do the same thing for our own community, and especially black people who have been staples in our community and supported our community. This is why Asians can come into our community, Hispanics and YT people can come into our community and build and take their money into other communities, because we don't even have a level of expectation for them. Why would you want to be in any relationship or situationship or business where there's no reciprocation? In most of these businesses, they won't even give us a discount for being faithful customers. The level of Stockholm syndrome that we have gone deep into has to be studied, and we have to unlearn and relearn. Black people, we are the only people that expect nothing from anybody but are always giving to everyone. Oh, let me correct that. We do expect everything for everyone. We expect everything for every person in the black community. We just don't expect everything for other people outside of the black community, especially those who we support and they do not support us. Someone even compared to my question about Dolly Parton to a gentleman who opened up a business in the black community hiring black people. He compared that question to a gentleman who opened up a business in a black community that actually employed black people. And when it comes to the business venture that she had, and she named it the house that Whitney built, it makes sense because Whitney gave her more royalties than she made on that song when she originally wrote it and sang it in the 70s. Over $10 million has she earned in royalties from Whitney's version of her song. She never could have did that without Whitney. So again, a black person who is pouring into a white person, but black people don't think that black people deserve to get anything back. That's amazing to me. Y'all will not go out with a black man without expecting him to take care of you. And y'all will not go out with a black woman without expecting her to bring something to the table. So what's wrong with expecting other people outside of our communities who we support and praise to have done something that earned it? The only person we should be praising and have poured our money into and don't expect reciprocation is Jesus Christ.
So it's incredibly tragic that Dolly Parton obviously died, but I don't think people understand what Dolly Parton meant to the black community. Dolly Parton was an aunt. She was an auntie. She was an aunt. She was one of us. She was one of us. This is like we're mourning a Michael Jackson. Like this. Well, retro story. This sucks.
For a lot of people, Dolly Parton wasn't just a country icon. She was Dolly, and clearly she was loved by everybody.